I was rooting for Denzel Bentley. It's my dude. I told my Ghanaian brethren about this and he was well into it. He knew about Denzel Bentley, but I told him he was a really good fighter and he was really looking forward to this. And he's going to be pissed. He's going to be really pissed. But that's boxing, man. He was up against a powerful middleweight today. I picked Bentley to win this, but when I saw the weigh-in and I saw the size of Felix Cash, and wow, I tell you what, man, eventually, if Cash doesn't tighten up his defense, somebody will exploit a lot of his defensive weaknesses, because beyond no illusion, Denzel Bentley hit him with a few clean shots. It's only Felix has a very good chin, and he's a very big, strong middleweight. He just very robust, very tough, very powerful. Tony Sims, a little bit of an underrated coach. Denzel, his hands were too low. He was always open to that right hand. Quick stoppage perhaps, maybe so, but he took about 4 or 5 right hands consecutively, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to see him get bludgeoned by any more of them. You know what I mean? I don't think the stoppage was that bad. People are going to say quick British stoppage, and they have a point. They do have a point, but I think Denzel was in trouble. The bigger point now is with Felix being British and Commonwealth champion is how far do you push him? Perhaps he should take on Matteo Sanagi, the European champion. I don't know much about him, but he's 41 years of age. He's 5'10", pretty experienced, 35 years of age, 30 wins, only 11 stoppages. He's been stopped once, lost 5 times, 3 draws. It should be a fight that Eddie could make relatively easy in the UK, give Felix hometown advantage. And if he can win that, I don't think you can really hold Felix back right now. He's so physically mature already. Denzel Bentley was ranked number 9 by the WBO, and I'll be expecting Felix, who's ranked 14, to perhaps be up there in the top 5 and perhaps get a top 10 ranking in some of the other sanctioning bodies. He's only had 14 fights though. He is 28 years of age, so he's not a youngster. A Eubank fight or a Liam Williams fight will be very good domestic boxing. Very, very good. But what does he get out of that? They're risky fights which could jeopardize his world ranking with no reward of a world title. Well, he's made his mark. He beat a good fighter today. Can Denzel come back? He'll have to have a good, long, hard look at himself, a good look at the fight, back to the drawing board, and hopefully he can come back. It wasn't just his size. Like I say, there's lots of big fighters at whatever weight class. His jab is a very powerful weapon. He cut the ring down very well. He's an accurate puncher. Like, Denzel is used to boxing his opponents and getting his shots off and not getting hit by certain counters. He didn't have that luxury tonight. Felix was very sharp. Denzel, though, made way too many mistakes defensively. His hands were way too low against a sharpshooter like Felix Cash, and he paid the price. Relied on his reflexes far too much, but Cash was just too good for him. And I was very surprised that it ended so early in the third. I really am. So I'm highly impressed with Felix Cash, has to be said. He's on the verge of becoming a world-class 160-pounder and getting in the title shot sweepstakes. And if he can keep this up and keep improving, he shouldn't fear taking nobody on. Nobody. There's nobody he should fear. Got a lot of upside. Quick. He's powerful. He's a bit reckless defensively because he's got a lot of belief in his ability to take a punch, which can always be a fighter's downfall. There's a punch out there for every fighter to get decked from, even if you haven't encountered it yet. And Bentley did mark him up over one of his eyes. Left one of his eyes a little red. But he looked like $1 million out there today. Credit due. New Commonwealth and middleweight champion Felix Cash. Great performance. Callum Johnson was in a slugfest with his Croatian opponent, who had 32 wins, 24 stoppages. He lost twice, but then 2 losses were by stoppage. One was by Umar Salamov, who I remember watching box, maybe a couple of times. And he also lost to Asufi, who Billy Joe Saunders beat. Now, Asufi got a little bit of a crack in there. He staggered Billy a little in that fight. And Callum Johnson has extremely heavy hands. Very heavy-handed boxer. I heard a few people today saying he smashes any 175-pounder in the UK. So we're talking about Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur, Joshua Boatzy. They're the four names: Callum Johnson, Boatzy, Yarde, and Johnson. Now Frank's got control of three of them. Eddie promotes Boatzy. I'm not sure if he destroys everybody. I'm not sure about that. He leaves himself very open, as he did today, and got caught with that right hand that busted his mouth pretty badly. He saw the blood pouring. He is very tough, though. He's very tough in that pub-style brawl type of way. He is very tough. He's not as classy as Felix Cash when letting go his combinations. And I could see one of them studying Callum Johnson, any one of them, Yarde, Boatzy, or Johnson, and picking him apart. Because he's just in there to brawl and throw big, telegraphed shots. That's what he does. Whether they could stop him or not, I don't know. He's like a bulldog, Callum Johnson. He could stop any of them if they're stupid enough to stand right in front of him and get hit with them sledgehammer blows. Because they're cumbersome looking punches. And he did deck Beterbiev. He finished the fight in the third, just bludgeoned his opponent on the ropes. Like he was hitting him on the top of the cranium with them shots there. Listen, it was brutal. That was his first fight for Frank Warren. It nearly went a bit pear-shaped when he got caught with that right hand, but well done. Now let's see if he can get a Lyndon Arthur, an Anthony Yarde, or a Boatzy in the ring. Because that would be some showdown. Lyndon Arthur was saying that Callum is going to have to wait. He wants the Joe Smith fight, and he thinks he's in line before Callum Johnson. But I thought Lyndon is going to have a little run out, Yarde's going to have a run out, and they're going to have their rematch later down the line this year. But you know, the British light heavyweight scene has a lot of fireworks that could potentially pop off. If Craig Richards in under 2 weeks can pull off one of the biggest upsets in British boxing and beat Dimitri Bivol, you know what Eddie's going to do? Eddie's going to pitch a whole load of cash in Craig's hands and get Joshua Boatzy a title shot. That's what he's going to do. But Craig Richards has got it all to do. He's more than likely going to get his ass whooped. No disrespect to Craig. I want him to win, but he's just up against it. I can't pick against Dimitri Bivol. But I expect a lot of fireworks to be popping off at 175 domestically. Lyndon Arthur, he was commentating on the proceedings tonight. He thought that Adilier should have double jabbed a little more. And he commentated on the Callum Johnson fight, but I didn't have the volume on. Lyndon Arthur, for instance, he would box circles around Callum Johnson. It would just be a matter if Callum could catch him in the 36 minutes of open play boxing. And if he lands flush, it could be curtains for Lyndon. So exciting times ahead. This was a good card. Giving Frank Warren his props. This was a very good card. Good entertainment. The main event was excellent. And it showed you what British boxing is all about. Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, they don't get on. They don't like each other. But when Eddie saw an opportunity for Felix Cash to be in a domestic double title fight, Commonwealth and British, he let Felix go over to BT, over to Queensbury, and take the fight. No ego, no problem, and it paid off for Eddie. It paid off big time for Eddie. Massively. Big up Denzel Bentley. Yeah, you lost. But you put your O on the line when you didn't have to. And the same with Felix Cash. You both put your O's on the line, although Denzel's got a draw on his record. But, you know, he's still unbeaten. He's an unbeaten fighter. He didn't have to take this risk. Felix Cash didn't have to take this risk. There ain't no Ryan Garcias on the British boxing scene. There ain't no Ryan Garcias. You saw Josh Kelly get his head kicked in by David Avanesian, and I predicted that. But he still went in there. He still went in there and tried. Great card. Great performances. Apart from David Adilier, I did predict this was going to be a test for him. He was lucky to get a W, lucky to keep his unbeaten record. Aside from the home cooking on that fight, you got to give Frank Warren credit for this card. But that's enough of boxing for the weekend. Tomorrow, we're going to break out the Chaz and Dave, and Tottenham are going to win the Carabao Cup. I'm out of here.